All right, a little bit of a an impromptu intro. I was gonna start with some clips of the cardio, but I was like, whatever. I woke up kind of late anyway, so cardio done. I already took my little caffeine capsules, but I haven't eaten anything and I haven't taken my vitamins. So I just got back from my first class. So it's 11:30. I haven't had jack. I'm fucking starving. So I just put this whole packet of deli turkey meat under these four little sandwiches I'm making. I, I can't even say cooking up. I'm really just assembling things right now. But that's going to add up to, I'll add up all the macros at the end. So mustard and low fat mayonnaise, those are the only other two ingredients. I wouldn't mind like some romaine lettuce, but I just don't have any, so whatever. Now, the mustard, there's no fucking calories in it. I could eat the whole thing. Now I'm thinking of people that just eat mustard. So there's no calories in the mustard. And if there are, it's negligible. But in the mayonnaise, if you're not tracking this kind of shit, this will add up quick. So zero out the scale and then just do a nice little healthy dollop on each of these turkey sandwiches. So that 33 grams total. Serving is 15, so about 2, maybe a little more. 8 grams of fat. All right, so I'll stack these together, put them in a little takeout box, but first let me add up all the macros. So, 8 grams of fat from the mayonnaise. It says 2 of carbs, 1 gram of carb per serving, so that's all plugged in. I just did the whole pack of this, so 8 servings, 8 more grams of fat, 16 more grams of carbs, and protein, 72 grams of protein. I'll trim it down a little because I'm only going to count dedicated protein sources, and I've been hearing a lot of flack about the quality of deli meats just because it's kind of everything ground up together. But I still think this is going to contribute to I'm fucking freaking out right now. Going to contribute to some muscle maintenance. Like the amino acid array in this turkey is still way better than like, a vegan protein powder or like a plant-based protein powder, It just doesn't have the same amount of all your leucines, and I don't know all of them by name, nor have I even looked into it. But there's no need to, right? Dedicated protein sources, meats, fish, dairy products, eggs, stuff like that. It's hitting the whole freaking, I kind of forget how many amino acids there are that makes up a complete protein. But having all those together is what you freaking want. So that's why I don't count the protein from the buns. Oh yeah, crap, the buns. The buns are 1 gram of fat each, so that makes 4. And then 3 grams of carbs each, so total that makes 12. And then it says 7 grams of protein in each. Dude, that's fucking BS. Come on. I just don't count it. Whether or not that's, it has energy, but honestly, from my perspective, the difference from, I don't know. I don't mess with it. That's how I go about it. This isn't an instructional video. It's more so just a documentary in a sense of just what I do. So check this out. This is pretty cool. So I've been just tediously taking out all my vitamins individually every day. So I took a tip from my grandma, got the pill, a little vitamin, what's the word even for? Scheduler? Divider? Yeah, so just do it all at once. I don't meal prep, but I guess I do a multivitamin prep. So if I sound a little bit, let's just say frantic, it's because, I've got a class in 5 minutes. I emailed her, I told her I was going to be late, but whatever. And then this is just a 0-calorie electrolyte packets mixed into the water, so I can make sure I stay nice and hydrated. So I guess you'll just have to imagine what it looks like when I eat these. I know they're going to be good, but I'll just eat these 4 in my next class. And then I've got a 2-hour gap before my next one, or before the one after this one. So we just come back to the kitchen, make a little something else, have a little chat about it as well. All right, class 2 of 3 now done. So I just threw a freaking pound of ground beef into a pot, stirred it up on high heat until it was, all brown, and then mixed in a package of microwavable cheddar cheese. No, cheddar broccoli rice. So total macros for this whole bowl, it's like 80 grams of protein. I think about 75 grams of protein. Oh, and then I poured in some hot sauce too, some buffalo. So I think it was about. Actually, I can just pull it up. What am I even thinking about? 75 grams of protein. Looks like we're on 20 grams of fat, and then 65 grams of carbs. So once I eat this whole thing, that'll put me at 1370 for the day. Now, a whole pound of ground beef. I'm not going to eat that all at once. I'm gonna snack on this for a while. I've still got to finish some homework for my next class, so I'm going to sit here for a bit, and then I'll probably just bring this with me, scratch at it when I'm in my next class. So I don't really eat in like, for the most part, especially when I'm dieting down, I'm not really eating dedicated meals. It's more so I'm just kind of eating throughout the day, Like, if I'm going to prep something, I'll prep it in kind of a large batch, the equivalent of a couple of meals, and just kind of, pull it out of the fridge, take a couple of bites when I'm hungry, and put it back. So this will probably be the last thing I eat over the course of the next couple hours. And then, at this point, we can just cut straight to the car talk for back and rear delts. Nothing else to discuss. So, didn't really have to get... Well, actually, I guess that is more of a normal grocery trip. You don't go to the grocery store and get everything that you eat. You just kind of replenish the things that you need. So I've already entered this 2 cups of the Carb Master non-fat chocolate milk into the stupid simple macro tracker. And this little shaker cup has a nice little denomination to tell me when I hit 16 ounces, exactly 2 servings. So that's another 22 grams of protein. And protein from milk, that's up there with beef, eggs, chickens, other dairy products, whatever. It's up there, right? When I think of a dedicated protein source, I guess I'll just relist it again, right? Red meats, poultry, dairy, eggs, animal products in general are where it's at. So the vegan lifter may need to get his priorities straight. But this plus the sandwich puts me at about 2173. Now, there was a little bit of estimation because, it's not like the Subway guy added the exact same amount of like this and everything else, whatever. But, the carbs from the vegetables on the sandwich, I pretty much just count as negligible. It's like maybe 3. I just don't even worry about it. But the bread, I definitely have to worry about. That's 80 grams of carbs right there. Now that's just something where, I go online and I look up how many grams of carbs are there in a foot-long Italian loaf from Subway. 2 little button clicks and then boom, the info is right there. It's not too hard to find, but it is a little bit of a hassle to have to look this kind of stuff up. But like I was saying in the car, once you get into it, it's just second nature. So this will put me at 200 grams of protein for the day so far, 61 grams of fat, a little higher than I would have aimed for, but whatever. And then 207 grams of carbs. So I've got just about 350 grams, no, 350 calories left. So I've got about half a pound of a top round steak in the sous vide right now, doing a little bit of a slow cook. So I'll probably come back down to the kitchen in about maybe like an hour. And then that'll be 50 grams of protein, probably about 50 grams of protein, 15 grams of fat. I'll just give it a quick sear. Take my nightly, actually, no, what am I talking about? I take my vitamins in the morning. Shit. After that, I just get to go to bed. So let me think if anything else has been going on. Subway gets a lot of hate. I was just looking up the one in town on Google Maps, 1.5 stars. You made the sandwich. That's just a fucking classic joke. I don't know, man. I like it. I'm probably just nostalgic. Because when I was a kid, my parents had us do the swim team, like summer league. So nothing like hyper competitive or anything, but you'd go out and have a whole swim meet where you just kind of hang out in the pool in your little camp, walking around. You'd go do your little events, and this would be the classic snack that we'd have, is just a sandwich from Subway. So apart from like the steak and rice, which you would call a kind of conventional bodybuilding meal, the rest of this is just it's just foods, right? Now I'm trying to be specific in my selection for the most part. That's why all the buns I have on top of the fridge are live carb, like low carb keto buns. That's why all the tortillas I have in there are low carb. That's why I have the, I'll just grab it for demonstrative purposes. That's why I've got the powdered peanut butter, where once you reconstitute it with water, or a classic move I've been doing is adding sugar-free syrup to get a little bit of a sweeter taste. All these little, that's another thing, all the diet soda too, all these little replacements make it that much easier for me to stick to, hitting just around what my macro goals are in the day. So if I can have a little peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the keto bread with the powdered peanut butter with some sugar-free jelly, I kind of just get to eat, if you can kind of put in the effort, you can eat whatever you want. Now, there's a little bit of caveats to that, because then you have to get into tracking everything. You've got to constantly be messing with the food scale. But, I like this method the most out of anything. I don't really, it doesn't really appeal to me to do like prepped meals, have a bunch of them in the fridge and like take them out every day and just eat it. Like, I don't know. I kind of want to eat. I don't know. I want to eat when I want to eat, and I want to eat what I want to eat. And then under the constraints of these macros, I'll adjust accordingly. So definitely the most intensively, definitely the style of dieting that requires the most effort on my end, because I have to constantly be thinking about these things and tracking everything every day, or every time I eat something, plugging it into the phone. But for me, it's the easiest. So if for you, you don't want to be messing with all these calculations, you don't want to constantly be like, oh, how much of, like, if you want to just prep a bunch of meals bodybuilder style on Sunday, have them in the fridge, the pictures when there's like 20 little individual Tupperware containers of measured out chicken, measured out rice, everything's added up perfectly. You don't even have to think about it. You just do your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meals, and then you go to bed. Hey man, if that's your shit, then do it. no matter what, there's no right or wrong way, apart from a couple of constraints like you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat, and to gain weight, you have to be in a calorie surplus. But, no matter what you do outside of those two realms, whatever works for you works. So, figuring out some shit for yourself, and it gets you results, that's just as valid as anything. So I'm going to sit here for a little while, play on my phone. Once I finish this, I'll go fold my laundry, and then we can come back for the steak, and this day it will be complete. Final meal of the, now technically morning. It's 12:30, man. I got to wake up tomorrow. It's just about 8-ish ounces of top round steak. So 50-ish grams of protein, 15 grams of fat. Ooh, a little bit of a gray band. Must have seared it a little too long on that side. But that puts me at 2,508 calories. This is just a 0 sugar lemonade that I have floating around. Well, not floating around, but in the fridge. So, no macros to worry about there. Another benefit of all the 0 calorie drinks and stuff like that, you don't even have to think about it. So, do you think I like having to do my cardio every day? Do you think I like tracking all my macros, and going to the gym for 2 hours at a time? Because I do. Because I do. It kind of makes me, I feel a little bit weird when I see all the edits or all these workout posts, and they're very negative. Dudes are talking about their, I used to be, this is kind of a classic trope. It used to be maybe kind of a fatter kid, and it's now you're working out. You want to get in shape. Kind of reactively to how you were treated when you were younger. And there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever sort of motivation you have to use to get jacked, that's badass. But for the most part, I try not to dwell on anything very negative in my training. I just think it's sort of a flawed mentality, at least in terms of longevity, to, want to achieve something to get over on somebody, or you break up with somebody, whatever, you want to get jacked. Oh, then now I'll show them. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. The I'll show them mentality. I'm not saying it won't work, but for the most part, if I try to think about why I'm doing all this stuff, I just like it. I just freaking like it. So maybe there's something mad, deep repressed in my mind which just isn't surfacing. But just walking around being big, moving a ton of weights, all I see is positives, So I'm super into it. But, whatever you gotta do, it's not like I'm saying you're wrong. But you gotta think. I think you're just gonna have a better time in the gym if you think about, let me see if I can even phrase how I want to say this. It's like thinking about the things that you want to achieve and not the things that you want to, stop, per se. Do you want to do it just because, or do you want to do it so that people won't mess with you anymore? Or you get a little bit of the idea I'm talking about. The more often you can just go to the gym, have a hard lift, and just be happy about it due to, for its own sake, I think that you're going to have a better time overall. Right? You shouldn't really be doing anything for anybody else's approval anyway. So, other than that quick little chat as a finisher, I'm going to keep up this level of caloric intake for probably maybe another 3-ish weeks. I think we might hit day 60. Honestly, 60 is kind of coming to mind as the number where I think, okay, that's probably about time to call it. But, I'll see. I'm definitely not going to cut it before 60. But, after that, we'll just get back on the bulk. I'm sure I'll give it some kind of title. I'm not going to call it spring bulk again, of course, but I do look forward to it. Because the way that I look at dieting, and trimming down, I just feel like I'm putting maybe not putting a pause on progress, but just, kind of putting a pause on progress, I like getting bigger, getting stronger, right? Seeing the weight move upwards, gaining muscle tissue, right? That's my favorite part. And even if I'm a little softer and I don't have all the crazy cuts, I think I definitely prefer bulking to cutting. But I like them both. So it's maybe 60% bulking, 40% cutting, right? You got to take each with the other one. Each with the other. You got to take one with the other if your deal is the bulking and cutting method, not just main gaining, hitting your protein and eating as much food as you're hungry for. If you do that and combine that with hard weight training, you are going to grow muscle slowly over time for sure. It's just not the method that I'm really into currently. So, getting into a couple of interesting points here. I'm definitely feeling ready for bed. Tomorrow is going to be morning cardio. I'll set the alarm for probably 7:30 or so. I've been waking up before my alarm though. That's kind of cool. I guess that's better than the alternative, waking up after it. But then I got one class. I get to just come home and chill for a while before going to the gym later and hitting arms. So I don't know which gym I'll go to. I kind of like having a circulation, but no matter what gym I go to, arm pump is going to be freaky. So cut will come to an end, and the bulk will begin again. So only bigger and better things to come. I'm out. I'll see you next time.